Just a couple of guys, a couple microphones, and a heck of a lot of know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
What they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, and of course, alongside me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Know-It-Alls? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know Show. We are locked and loaded, ready to go, and we're going to be talking some big-time conversations about the New York Giants.
Yeah, Joe, there's a lot of conversations to have. A lot of them I have myself already.
No shortage.
And my therapist. It's been a very long and dark road and decade for us. And luckily for us, though, tonight, I have a partner to really shed the tears with and talk about this and get some of this off my back. It's our very good friend, Lindsey Weitz here. She is host of Back in the New York Groove podcast. Hopefully that I'm looking to see she's going to get back and get started up again. But here she is to talk a little Giants. Lindsey, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So it was funny because I was even listening to the last time you had your podcast. It was back in 2022, right?
Yes, I did it in college when none of my friends would talk about the Giants with me. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to talk to myself about it. And that's what I did.
Right. And it is funny. And you knew that were dark times. I swear it was almost as if somebody is like, I woke up after, waking up from a post-apocalyptic thing happening. And I found a recording of the last person that was alive, like in a shelter. And she's like, if you're listening to this, please. It's all bad. Oh my goodness.
Everything's bad. Everything's terrible.
3:35 in the morning. And it was funny. It was when Brian Daboll and Joe Shoen just got hired, and you're like, maybe there's hope and this and that. And since then, it's been pretty shitty still. So far. Here we are, the Giants again, where there's questions about the ownership. There's questions about, leadership. And so let's get right off with it on a positive start for you. How about congratulations to the Virginia Tech Hokies and getting 5 players drafted this year for the first time or most since 2010. So congratulations to them.
Including the New York Giants signed one in undrafted free agency. Go Hokies. They weren't exactly good at football anyways. I think I have a picking really bad football teams. Like it's I don't know, it's a character flaw. I don't know. Like it's a habit of mine, I guess. But like I can't talk too much shit because like I've seen 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime.
Right.
And, like there's a lot of people who can't say that.
A lot of people that can't, especially. That's right. So the draft, 2025 draft happened just a little while ago in Green Bay. So the Giants made a bunch of moves. What do you think about their draft this year?
Love it.
Yep.
I feel like I've started the last couple years, like, I'm optimistic in the off season, and it's totally false optimism. I'm like, maybe DJ will finally figure it out. And I was in denial, completely in denial the entire time I was doing this. And I was like, because that was the only way I could get through it was, basically sticking my head in the sand and saying, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And then, week 1 would come and all my hopes and dreams would be crushed. And I'd be like, all right, it's going to be a really long 17 weeks. It finally feels like we're turning a page, this feels like Brian Daboll and Joe Shoen's team rather than Shoen and Daboll dealing with Gettleman's leftovers, which is, I think, huge for them. I'm sure they're also really excited about that. I would be if I was them. They're not stuck with this terrible roster that Dave Gettleman put together. Yes, Joe Shoen was the one who did sign Daniel Jones to a $160 million contract. I can't think of any other GM in the league that would give that kind of quarterback contract. Exactly. Like, you win one playoff game and you get signed to a 4-year, $160 million contract. I really do have a feeling. I think that was John Mara had a lot to do with that, and he was pushing it, and he was like, "No, I want this to work. I want this to work." And I have major issues with John Mara. I have been planning a coup. To do a little like hostile takeover situation because And also, I'm sorry, get your stupid family out of these like director roles because they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I was saying, I'm like, you know what? They need a George Young.
Mm-hmm.
They needed George Young when the Giants were terrible back in like the late, obviously this was before my time, like late 70s. And they brought in George Young and you get LP and then you win the first 2 Super Bowls. Like I would think that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
And if it still doesn't work out and they still suck, I think they need to do something like that.
Yeah.
And, they're never going to, the Maras are never going to sell the team ever. So I don't really think I can hope for that. And I don't know why I would acquire like $9 billion to buy the team.
Right.
So other than hostile takeover, like those are my 2 options.
Yeah. That's the thing too, right?
Takeover. Yeah.
Because it's like now he's like selling 10% of it again, but and Michael Strahan's interested along with Mark Lazary. But again, it just says non-controlling piece.
Right.
I'm like, all right, so I can just jump on and make whatever we make out of this.
Right.
And it makes me wonder, kind of same thing for me, like how much say does really Steve Tisch has? Because it seems like he used to be more vocal about 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And now you don't hear him at all. It's just John Mara is the face of the franchise.
Yeah,
here.
like you see Steve Tisch on draft night and like week 1. That's about it. Other than that, I mean, he's definitely not in there day in, day out. And I'm not sure what their like ownership split is. It might be like 49-51. But because I really don't know if they're equal partners. But
I think Mara probably has a majority, and Tisch again. I'd like to know how much ownership he has and how much say he has in operations. Because, like I said, as of lately, he hasn't been vocal. Before he's been up there to say something contradictory to what John Mara says. It's like, well, I believe in this, I believe in this, and maybe it's just a thing like with both of them now that they said, hey, before we talk to media, maybe we'll just go with this, so it's not conflicting stories possibly.
Your owners contradicting each other in the media doesn't look too good.
But we're getting a little bit with the Cowboys right now, but with father and son there. So I mean, that's a debacle in itself, and maybe we'll touch on that in a little bit too. So
that fossil.
Yeah, nice. Fossil. Nice. So and one thing that's been delightful, I guess, the Cowboys, again, they're still the same old Cowboys in the last decade too, talk a lot of trash and high expectations too, and that don't really pan out either as well.
No, it's so entertaining to me.
Yes.
I love to see the Cowboys fail. Like, that's how I've been getting through these like horrible seasons is like, okay, if the Giants are going to suck, at least the Cowboys do too. Philly being good is like the worst possible thing for me because I cannot stand the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Like
rightfully so.
I can't deal with them. I can't deal with the fans. I can't deal with the team. Hate them. My dad has banned me from going to games in Philadelphia because he's like, you instigate and you talk shit and you fight and you will get your ass beat in Philadelphia. I'm like, yeah, probably, but like that's fun. He's like, no,
yeah, right.
He's like, no, you're not doing that. No, I'm not allowed to go to games in Philly, which I really want to, like just to cause problems. But I need to do that once the Giants get good, because it wouldn't be fun if we get our asses kicked.
Yeah. She wants to see what that prison looks like on the inside of their of their stadium, right?
Yeah.
All right, so draft again. You're super excited.
Yes.
They grab Abdul Carter early on with the first pick, which I was excited about too. They did the smart route, didn't reach on a quarterback, anything like that.
Yep.
I think he's going to instantaneously help the defense. I thought that might be a game changer for Kayvon Thibodeau and what his plan was, but then afterwards they did pick up his 5th-year option.
Yeah.
What do you think about that scenario and what they're going to do with Kayvon?
I hope Abdul Carter lights a little bit of a fire under Kayvon's ass, because Kayvon has not panned out in the way that we all thought, right? He really hasn't. And I think either he's going to, kick him into high gear, or, they'll work together and they'll complement each other. And I think it'll be a positive. I mean, Kayvon said he's very excited to work with Abdul Carter. And I mean, the defensive line is just, and it feels like if you look back at the 4 Super Bowls we won, what's been the standout? The defense, especially that front 4. So now you have Burns, Dexy Dexy, Kayvon, and Abdul Carter. I mean, we drafted Darth Vader, and I'm a total Star Wars nerd. So the fact that we drafted Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker is making me so happy. I'm like, this is the best draft ever.
Nice.
It's great. So I love that pick. I think it's like getting back to what the fundamentals of Giants football are, which is a super hard hitting defense and a really strong defensive line. So I love the Abdul Carter pick. It is exactly what I wanted. Honestly, the Giants did exactly what I wanted in the first round, which was take Abdul Carter at 3 and then trade back up to like late teens, early 20s for Jackson Dart. They did exactly what I wanted. I could not here.
Nice.
Yeah, it was an excellent move. I mean, it was literally like one of the more masterful moves for any football team in the draft, because
we really didn't give up much.
Yeah, as much hype as Shedeur Sanders was getting leading up to the draft, as a football fan, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous for the Giants if they were willing to take that bet and say, no, we're gonna take them, and then here's the same old Giants again. Making a mistake instead of going with what is right in front of them.
Right.
Like the best player on my board, I had Abdul Carter as my number 1 overall player. So
easily
they get him at 3. They trade back in, get Jackson Dart. How exciting it is for me as a football fan is I love Jackson Dart coming out. I think this kid is going to be electric at the next level. As soon as he, obviously gets down in the playbook and, and hones in his skill set. It's a beautiful marriage right now for the New York Giants, and for Jackson Dart. I'm really excited. I don't expect to see him this year.
No, and we won't, which is the right thing to do.
Right.
And I think that's what they screwed up with Daniel Jones, is they should have drafted a quarterback like a year or 2 before Daniel Jones and let him sit under Eli for a year or 2, not draft Daniel Jones, give him 4 or 5 games and then throw him in there. I think that was, I mean, you should have never taken Daniel Jones at 6 overall to begin with, but that is more. So and I feel like we have seen throughout the league a lot of success with drafting a rookie quarterback and having them sit under a veteran, not to mention a veteran that's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Right? You have 2 veterans, Russell Wilson's Super Bowl winning quarterback, Jameis Winston, also been in the league for quite a long time. You have 2 quarterbacks with a lot of experience and experience winning in this league. And I think that is huge for the development of quarterbacks. And also I think Daboll's finally getting his guy. Like, look what he did with Josh Allen.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's the funny thing though, too, is because I've also heard people say, look what he did with Josh Allen and this and that. And, now you've got Jackson Dart. They're like, stop comparing, Josh Allen with Jackson Dart and this and blah. They're 2 different things. But like you brought up to the point earlier, Daniel Jones was already there. So he tried to fix what has already been there. It wasn't exactly his guy.
No.
And he saw things. And you could see that there was some people have that just mental gap that's just there. I mean, in training people, I know you see it in industry. I know I do a lot of times in my line of work. You see a guy and you're like, oh, maybe I can get him to do this or do that or whatever. And he keeps making that same mistake every single time. You're like, well, that's his ceiling, I guess. This is just where he is. He's this, and that's their ceiling. So to get a guy that now I think he feels comfortable that he can mold, that doesn't come with all the attitude too, that I think that was there with Shedeur Sanders, I think will help, and to sit behind Russell Wilson, because I think the moves that they made in the offseason with the quarterback room, I think really set this up.
Yes. Let me just say, if the Giants had taken Shedeur Sanders, I would have been rioting outside of 1925 Giants Drive, because I'm not surprised in the slightest that he fell to the 5th round.
There you go.
No.
at all. And when all these, mock drafts were coming out like immediately after the season that hit him going like top 5, I'm like, no.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, he played at a D1 school. He played at Colorado. Colorado doesn't play anybody. Like
Mhm.
they're not in a competitive division. It's not the top level of competition in college football. And he's a prima donna.
Mhm.
He's a diva. He comes from, Deion Sanders is in his own right. Deion Sanders, great football player. I think he has earned the right to have a bit of an attitude. Shedeur Sanders has not. Like the
Right.
draft room with legendary all over it. Like,
Right. Yeah, you're already crowning your son win off of your kind of, what you've done. I mean, Deion Sanders, like you said, 2-sport player, total athlete, success at both fields.
right.
And his son hasn't yet. Hasn't been there. He's got to pave his own path. And that's
Exactly.
the thing. And he hasn't.
Right. And I think Shedeur Sanders was really expecting like the red carpet to be rolled out for him just because his last name is Sanders. And no, you have to earn your spot in this league.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I was not surprised that he fell to the 5th round at all.
Not surprised at all. Jim can attest to this, that when we did our draft special and we were breaking down the players coming out and ranking them all, like I did not have Shedeur nowhere near top 3. And honestly, after watching his tape and everything, like you notice inconsistencies across the board with him. Yeah, they tabbed him as like the most accurate quarterback, but that you see plays where that's true, but at the same time, he does have a weak arm. Right. And people, he can get the ball to the receiver, but it's not where it needs to be. So, and like you were just saying, the conference he was playing in, there's no real competition. And I gotta say, the toughest competition they played was BY freaking U. Like he struggled.
He completely shit the bed in the bowl game.
He struggled against that defense.
Yep.
And now you're playing with the big boys, and not just the big boys at the college level. You took 2 huge leaps into the NFL.
Exactly.
None of the out of all the 32 teams, nobody viewed him as a starter. That's why he slid to the 5th round. And Cleveland was like, "Well, should we just
did you see the video of Cleveland's draft room when they
That's Lindsey. That's what tells me that pick was forced.
Yes,
on the GM and the coach.
Ownership said you have to do it. They were not happy about that.
Yeah,
and you know what? I don't know if I see Shedeur Sanders earning a starting job in the NFL. I don't, unless he makes serious leaps and bounds and improves significantly, and also gets the attitude in check.
Yeah.
Okay. No one is going to want a rookie that comes in there and acts like he's the second coming.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're low man on the totem pole.
Yeah. And I think he's going to know that. I think he's going to know that pretty soon, as soon as he gets to when he's with all the veterans.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, sit down.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let Myles Garrett get a hold of him here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Put him up against Myles Garrett in like training camp, and just as a little leg, break him in a little bit.
Nice. Oh yeah. It's like, that's prime time.
Injuries, but like, just he's gonna earn it, and he has not earned it at all. So I'm very happy that the Giants did not take him, because I was a little worried.
Yeah, it's like you didn't know, I mean, they kept seeing him falling and things. You weren't sure what they were going to do. Because again, you talk about them needing quarterback, and we look at next year's class too, where, it's a bit better. So what are they going to do? What's the expectations? They're going to take one, but where is it and who are they going to go? And there had been rumors about Jackson Dart and that they were really excited about him. And when they pulled the trigger, you knew kind of that's where it was going to be. So I was excited. I know you're excited. That's good. And as far as even making your mark, Abdul Carter, what do you think about the situation with him with trying to find a number? But the first people you ask is Lawrence Taylor, who owns 56, and then Phil Simms. I get Phil Simms just because you had 11, but
right,
like two of the better the greatest Giant of all time, one, and
Greatest-
then Phil Simms.
Yeah, I'm not even saying greatest Giant of all time. I'm going to go ahead and say greatest defensive player to ever play in this league.
Yeah, right.
I get it, you're good. But like, do you really want to do? And come on, that number is never going to be worn by another New York Giant ever again. Ever.
Right.
Like that number's same with 10, never going to worn again.
Mm-hmm.
There are some numbers that are immortal, 56 and 10, 11. I'm sorry, those will never be on another Giants jersey unless I'm staring at a Lawrence Taylor jersey in my closet right now. It's the only one that's going to that's 56 is Lawrence Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put it with it. It goes hand in hand.
Right.
And what's funny is that you also hear analysts again where they want to go on the opposite side and argue. It's like, well, it's just a number. A number to identify the player when they're on the field, blah, 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 blah. So players shouldn't care about a number. Yeah, is it though? A lot of people, people have superstitions about numbers. They have favorite numbers growing up, even for one thing. But then when you put your mark on the league or in history, people remember your name. But also, I think that number on top of it really resembles something. And then when you see it, it's there. And that fact that no one can ever do it, that says something. I think it's a whole nother thing. It's not just a number after that.
No. And, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a Giants fan, but when I hear 56, I think, oh, LT.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that's what comes to mind. In the football world, I see 56. That's LT to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I thought that was a little, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, balls.
I was a dual partner. I would not have done that, but that's and I can see where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a place of respect and admiration,
mm-hmm.
but I do think he probably should have recognized the fact that, come on, dude, that's an immortal number in this building, and it's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And asking Phil Simms to do was just weird because it's also that whole offense defense thing. If it was another quarterback asking Phil Simms, I think it would be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But with I don't know. And you know what? I'm sure I don't think they've come out with the numbers for the rookies yet because I have all the Giants notifications turned on my phone, so I'm usually pretty up to date on all that. So I don't think they picked him yet. But you know what? Whatever number he picks, put your own mark on that. That's what I would think. Don't you want to make your own name?
Right.
Because if you were wearing 56, you are playing in the shadow of the greatest defensive player of all time for your entire career.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that puts an unreasonable expectation on a player because it's like you're starting in a deficit.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't have done it. And whatever number he ends up as, I'm sure he's gonna own it and he's make it his own and make his own legacy.
It's funny that you talk about numbers. Do they mean anything? Do they not mean anything? There's teams throughout the league too that don't retire numbers ever.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No matter how great the player ends up being or whatever, they just don't retire the number. So it's you could see both sides of the argument where you would like to retire the number if the guy was a Hall of Fame type of player or something very special to the organization. It makes sense. But the other side of it too is if you have too many great players, you start to run out of numbers.
Yes.
You're not going to have enough numbers to field the team.
We're going to end up with numbers that are 377 and
hey,
then they just retire the team, Joe. Just retire the damn team.
The NFL is going to allow this team to add a third digit now to the jersey. So there we go.
2042 and we're in 600 or something ridiculous.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, but you've seen it. Tom Brady couldn't get number 10 when he wanted to, and then he took 12, and now look, TV, TV 12 and everything.
Now everybody wants to be
legendary 12. Yep.
Exactly.
So there you go.
You put your own.
Yep. Hell yeah. We got a bunch of guys in here. Shout out to Chris Simpson in the house with us. Christian Dickinson too. Boom. All Giants fans representing. Christian says defense looking good this year. I think so too.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get into the off-season roster moves on top of it. So we talked about draft and what they brought in, but Paulson Adebo and others,
huge additions
to the defensive side of the ball, to where we had, Pinnock, we had Adoree Jackson twice over, and guys like that, to where I'm just kind of like, these guys again. And I'm like, oh, and I'd complain. And some people are still, even those diehard Giants fans, for some reason, are just kind of like, hey, yeah, but still, yeah, he's good. And I'm like, no, man, I want better. I'm tired of this. I want better.
Right. Exactly. And, I like the rookie cornerback, and I'm having such a brain fart right now. Oh my God.
Deontay Banks.
No, I never want to see Deontay Banks.
You don't want to see him?
I think I could play better football than Deontay Banks, and I'm a 24-year-old girl. Like, come on.
Boom.
The lack of effort there was disgusting. It pissed me off so much.
He's going to have this. This will be his third year, which is pretty much judgment year for a lot of these guys that get drafted. So
if he doesn't step it up, you're done. You're out. I don't get you. I don't want you on my roster, because you cannot, and especially when you look at the statistics of like high school players to Division I college players to players that are drafted, like the percentage of people that make it there is so teeny tiny, and you're going to go out there and half-ass it.
Yeah, it seemed like, he was one of the guys that really got picked on. He saw a bit of it last year, to where Brian Daboll was really challenging him.
As he should.
And he did. Yeah. And he did bring in Javon Holland here, which I think was a great pickup here for them at safety, and Adebo, Paulson Adebo too, I think, which is a good add for them to help that secondary, to where I think now Deontay Banks has got to kind of start fighting for that starting job, or else now he's sitting it back, because again, you've got Drew Phillips and those guys back there too, and Tyler Nubin that played great too. So
that was the other name I was trying. I was like, why can I not think right now? Yes, because now you happens. Have competition breeds better play. So I think now that he has to compete for a starting job, he's either gonna have what it takes or he doesn't. And if
now,
he does, great.
For me though, my question. Now we've looked at the quarterbacks and things like that. But my question here for the Giants though, again, is yes, you have Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is great. He did really well, and it's great to have that number one finally. But Jalen Hyatt still hasn't turned into something I hoped he'd turn into. It seemed like he's not getting separation or something. I don't know. I don't know if they're sending him on the wrong routes. I don't know what the situation is there, but how is Darius Slayton cracking the number 2 spot still, when we're talking about cutting him, and then now we reinstate him and you don't give him an extension? Like, what the hell happened there?
The whole Jalen Hyatt thing is very confusing to me, because when he came out of Tennessee, he was being hailed as like one of the best route runners in the draft. And also, he was not being targeted last year at all. He just wasn't being
right.
Hardly played.
Which I didn't understand that, and that might be like some internal thing that we are not privy to. I don't know. Because I want to see him more involved. I'm like, why aren't you? This kid is supposed to be really good at running routes, and he's fast. He's really fast. However, I also think that could be the fact that Daniel Jones did not know how to read a football field. So there's that too.
Yeah,
I think that
and that's the thing too. I was there too if he wasn't seeing them.
Right, like if Jalen Hyatt was like the second read, we all know Daniel Jones couldn't really get past number 1. So.
Yep,
absolutely. Okay. I'm like, do you have like blinders on? Like, do you not know how to go through your progressions? I've never played on a football field in my life, and I can do it. Like, that's a pretty basic thing to be able to do as a quarterback in the NFL.
Right. And I think that's what some people even call him out on, is not getting to his progressions and seeing where they can clearly freeze the frames and see the tape and say, hey, but this guy's here. And he just clearly didn't see him at all.
Oh my God. The amount of times that I went back and I would get bored and I'd rewatch game, basically torture myself and rewatch the games. I'm like, what? Like,
man, you do like torturing yourself.
no, no, it's really bad. I'm like, why do I don't know why I do this. Really don't. It's commitment. It's loyalty.
Yeah.
Like I'm committed to the Giants for life. There's literally nothing that could ever cause me to stop cheering for this team ever, ever. But like, it was just, I'm like, dude, there are like, you have 3 wide receivers open. Instead, you throw it into fucking double coverage and throw an interception. You've been in the league for what, 6 years and you're doing that? Like that's unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I think Daniel Jones has the capability to be like a pretty decent backup. I don't think he's a starter.
Mm-hmm.
The fact drafted a pretty decent backup at 6 overall still just keeps me up at night, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I know that we were there in that live at Katie O'Byrne's for that draft. And that place went electric with laughter.
Oh,
it
what
was
a
hilarious.
I was in Spain for that in high school, and I woke up at 3:00 in the morning. Like, I was so excited. I'm like, what? Honestly, I didn't even know who he was.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because I was like, who the hell? Like, I was like, what? I was so confused. I'm like, what? It baffled me. And you know what? I had a lot of hope for Daniel Jones. I really did. I really wanted him to succeed. And I cheered for him for 6 years. And I'm like, maybe he'll do it. Maybe he'll be okay.
I think the Giants front office just kind of pictured him and they looked at his, profile pic and they're like, you know what? We see a little bit of Eli Manning in him. He's going to be the next great guy. We got to take him.
Like, no. And I get it. You know what? I think we were spoiled with Eli. We were. I know we were. Like, I miss Eli every single day. I would die for Eli Manning. Truly. I love that man. He's the greatest. But, you can't really, like, you can't replicate that. Also, Daniel Jones did not have any kind of personality at all.
Yeah.
Like, that man was.
He's a robot.
Yeah, a freaking wet blanket. So, now our quarterback has some aura. I like it. He got a little bit of style.
He's got some swag for sure.
Oh, yeah, the Anakin Skywalker eye black. Love it. Like, yeah, all right. Like, and also you're playing in the biggest market in sports. One of the biggest markets in the world. You need to have personality. Like, and I just the entire time, like, watching Daniel Jones, I kind of got the feeling that he could not handle being in that kind of market. Personality wise, I hope he goes to a sports psychologist because the poor kid needs it. I mean, he basically had his ego crushed for 6 years.
Yeah.
It's a little bad for him.
Well, now he's there with Shane Steichen, and now he's got to battle it out with Anthony Richardson, who hasn't had the best start either. So, I mean, I think that's a good spot for him there. Some more competition,
and he has a killer nickname in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
You didn't hear that? It's Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, nice.
I mean,
there you go. It is right. Perfect.
Exactly.
I'm under the belief you can't have a nickname until you've shown something.
Oh, I agree with you,
Like,
but the Colts tweeted
they're
it.
just. I guess the Colts are just handing them out over there.
They are.
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, I thought it was funny when they tweeted it. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, you have fun.
All right, we got our
Murray. I hope so.
Yeah, there's
Martindale.
Yep, there is Stephen Murray's in the house. He's our voice actor for our show. Yep. Oh yeah, he's big famous. He's been on Video Games Knockout City. Yeah, he's a real good friend of ours. Yeah, any chance Bowen does do more than put out better vanilla defense this year.
And you know what? He better, because he has the tools to do it. Like, I want record sack numbers, and I will not accept anything less.
I think some of it. Yep, some of it was again injuries last year. Again, I don't know if anything. I even talked about this off season with people, and they're like, "Oh, you want to draft and this and blah blah." I'm like, I want a new training staff, like something like that, so health and fitness, something, because it seems like everybody's dropping like flies every single year.
Well, also when your offense can't stay on the field and the defense has to play almost the entirety of the game, I'm not surprised that your defense is starting to like drop out by the end of the season. You know, so I think you you get the offense to like stay on the field and maybe score points.
Yeah, score points. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
That would be cool.
Forget what the stat was, but it was like multiple weeks, that you haven't scored a touchdown, and you're like, hey, finally we hit one. Wow, cool.
Like the fact that we are cheering for just scoring a touchdown. Like that's where we were at. I'm like, hey, we scored.
Yeah,
we got into the end zone, and that felt like a win.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is the state of being a Giants fan right now. Is like so excited that they just, and I don't think I saw them. No, I think I maybe saw them score one touchdown at home last year because I didn't go to the Colts game, the one game we won, which I was so pissed about. I'm like, the fact that I'm pissed about a win.
Yeah, you missed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, it was cold. It's family here. I was like, yeah, you know what? We're so bad. I'm like, no. This is, and of course we win, and I was fuming about it. So I'm like, why do you do this stupid shit? And I know the players are like, we don't tank. I'm like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because at that point, your season is so far gone. The win only hurts you for the game. So
players don't care about that.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. It's a pride thing. It's a pride thing.
You should.
Yeah, I hear you there. Now again, play with how bad they've kind of been a laughing stock. I think what kind of contributes to some of that makes it worse for us is the fact that Philly is doing what they do every single year and what they do, and it's disgusting. And the fact that the Cowboys, even though they suck and they struggle, and Dak Prescott has been injured, multiple times, they keep beating us and just beating us to a pulp. And with Washington, how they were just terrible offensive line, not very good. They get a new head coach, and they draft Jaden Daniels, and they're off running just like that. And there they go. And
like having those 2 wins guaranteed every year was so nice. Like 2 guaranteed divisional wins. Love it. Amazing. And now we don't have that anymore. I'm like,
yeah, right. And that's what I think it adds to it, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, hell, Washington beat us the first time, I think, without scoring a touchdown. I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were even winning that game, and we just let them beat us at the just the end of it.
Well, because they knew Graham Gano was injured, and they did not think to add another kick for the roster.
See, kickers do matter.
They do. Even though they're trying to remove them from the game and here and there, yes, they do matter, Joe. That's a whole nother can of worms there, though, too.
No, kickers are important.
Yeah.
I mean, a field goal. How many games have we won on field goals? A lot.
Again, teams like us that need them. Hey.
Exactly. Like that, I think that's been the only positive for the Giants. I'm like, hey, at least our kicker's good.
Yeah, right.
At least our kicker is good. I know. And I feel like the fact that Philly was good this year, it did hurt even more because of he who shall not be named.
Yes. I was going to possibly ask you about that.
You can ask me. Yep. So I did not want the Giants to re-sign Saquon.
You didn't? Okay.
Nope.
And why is that? Just because you didn't think he was worth the money, or what do you think? Like
he'd spent so much of his time in New York injured. And he wanted like Christian McCaffrey level money. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you haven't earned that in New York. But also, I knew that the Giants did not have the setting for him to succeed. So I really didn't think it was fair to him. Am I unbelievably pissed he went to Philly? Yes, of course. Any other team, I would have been like, woohoo, go Saquon. And I would have been happy for him. No, I hate the fact that he's in Philly. It really makes me very angry.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
no, it's okay.
Oh, we made her angry now, Joe.
I was irate during the Super Bowl. Like I was so, and I watched it with some of my girlfriends, and that was the first time they'd seen me like really mad over football, and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not okay." And they're like, "You're scaring me a little bit." I'm like, "Yeah, welcome to me like watching football. It's slightly terrifying sometimes. I've been told." But like, girl, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, Saquon Barkley's doing well. And they're like, isn't that a good thing? I'm like, no. No, it is not. Like, no. No, I would want like any other team. I mean, maybe not the Cowboys, but like the Cowboys suck, so it doesn't really matter. Like literally any other team, and you go to the fucking Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
But I'm okay with it because I'm liking our running back room right now. Especially because we drafted like a psychopath of a running back in Cam Scatterbo. I love that pick. That is one of my favorite picks from the draft. When we saw, because I was watching him who were they playing? In the playoff game, Arizona State. I'm like, ooh, now that's a running back. I was like, that is the kind of running back. Like I saw something like after they drafted him, he used to run into telephone poles.
Yeah, it's training. It's part of training.
Like I'm like, that's what I want. That's a football player right there. That's what I want. Like a psychopath level running back.
I like to call him Cam the Ram because when I was watching his tape and everything, I'm like, dude, I don't care about his 40 time. I don't care about how fast he can. I don't care if he breaks 5 tackles, but still gets you 20 yards and doesn't score.
Right.
The dude is an absolute animal at running back. And this is one of those, I feel like it's one of the steals of the draft.
Absolutely.
Because
he was what, 5th?
4th rounder.
4th round. The fact that we got him in the 4th round, I was like, whoo. And if he's not in number 44,
good thing it's not retired.
he needs to be. I will accept nothing other than number 44 for him. I'm sorry. Like, he, like that kind of like power running back is also just so much fun to watch.
Yes.
And again, you're getting back to like Super Bowl winning football because that was Brandon Jacobs.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's what you needed. Because again, Tyrone Tracy again kind of jumped on the scene too as well, and he really played really well.
Oh my God, I love Tyrone Tracy. He was a surprise, and when I saw him first play, I felt a lot better about like the whole Saquon thing. So I'm like, and because Saquon and Tyrone Tracy's stats last year were similar.
It's funny because Tyrone Tracy recently, I'm starting to become friends with some of the Giants players for some reason.
Look her girl up
through Facebook. So far, Tyrone Tracy and Andrew Thomas, we're now friends.
All right.
Yeah. I'll have to send them your way.
But yeah, I mean, that's what it takes. And that's what I think we have to look at going forward is that was part of the game plan. Yes, we're going to catch the slack just of the team that Saquon went to. And you could see that, but I mean, look at that offensive line compared to what our offensive line was. You know what I mean? I mean, we were still trying to shuffle around Evan Neal and figure out where does this guy fit. And right now, apparently, it's still nowhere and go to guard. Yeah,
which I've been asking for years. Like years. I'm like, why will you not put him at guard? Why? And they finally did it. And you know what? I think he's going to do well at guard. I really do. And because I want him to, because he was the same, you know, I feel like that draft of him and Kayvon has been kind of disappointing since then. And I think it's because Evan Neal's been in the wrong position. And I do think guard is the right spot for him.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It has been disappointing. I mean, it's just put it bluntly, it has been, you know, and we had a lot to look for. And when we looked back in that draft, we were saying, what do we need? Offensive line and edge rusher. We still need that, you know, and that's what, you know what I'm saying? And we've been talking about this for a decade.
Yes.
You know, that was supposed to be Dave Gettleman was supposed to do that. You know what I mean?
He doesn't do
I
that.
look back and I'm like, so like, what? Did Dave Gettleman actually do anything? No. I don't think he did.
Yep. Yeah. And it's been tough. It's been tough.
Yeah.
But
it's funny. I think it's since the last time we've spoken, Lindsey, we've been having that conversation for years with Evan Neal about how he's not in the right spot.
Yes.
He needs to be kicked inside.
Yeah.
That's the only way this dude could actually have a chance of starting.
Right.
And now it's still not a shoe-in because now he's going to have to compete against recently drafted Marcus Mbow from Purdue. And you got Greg Van Roten there. So like, I understand the move has been made, but he's got a big uphill climb to try to even get close to starting. And
you know what? If he can do it, great. And again, it's the same going back to like competition breeds better play. And so I'm all for depth and conversation. Like, compete for that starting job. Thank you. Because I think it makes you a better football player. And because having your job guaranteed, like, I feel like that's kind of a Deontay Banks thing is, there was not the depth where he had to compete for that starting job. So he's kind of like, well, I'll just do whatever I want.
Right.
Millions of dollars. And
that's
can't do that
honestly, that's one of the major risks when you're desperate for a position in the draft and you take, I understand they liked him when they took him. They did like him. He came in, but it's almost entitlement. Like, oh, here, you're the starter right away. Oh, yes. I'm the starter. Like, watch me go. Oh, shit.
Yeah, especially because, you're like, what, 21, 22, and you're all of a sudden earning millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it went the opposite for him, because when that happens too, you're not prepared, you get exposed, and he got wicked exposed. And now that's what I mean. People are looking at him like, all right, you just ain't ready. You're not ready, or you're just not cut out for this.
Is he better be in the lab?
Yeah.
He better be in the lab getting ready for the season, because this is decision year for him.
Mm-hmm. I know. And he's been like, it was embarrassing watching him go out on the football. I'm like, and you know what? I really hope the Giants were embarrassed by that, because they should be. Mm-hmm. And I hope Deontay Banks is embarrassed about it, but frankly, like, just the overall vibe of his attitude, like, I don't think he was, because he's like, I'm an NFL player. Like, well, you won't be for long if you keep playing like that.
We've got somebody on YouTube that is watching us and from Memphis, and is a big Giants fan.
You know it all here. Let's go.
And they didn't offer their name on YouTube, and I know YouTube says that sometimes you want to do this, you want to do this. Let us know your name, brother, sister, whoever you are out there, fellow Giants fan. We want to know who you are. Become part of the family. Become a know-it-all. So don't be shy out there. We love to hear your names.
Yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yep, hit the subscribe button. Let us know you're out there. So yeah, we've talked about a little bit of the roster spots, but the wide receiver room, again, I'm looking at that and I'm a little sketchy still. So I would like a little more depth.
Yeah.
But out of free agents that are out there, or I know the Jacksonville Jaguars just released Gabe Davis. So you kind of want to tie those together, because Brian Daboll worked with them in Buffalo. He had success there with them. What do you think about Gabe Davis to the Giants, or any other potential, free agents out there?
I like Gabe Davis. I feel like he wouldn't be too expensive either. I mean, depth at wide receiver is huge. And I'll be so honest, I think I have been so invested in like defense lately that I'm like, oh shit, I kind of forgot to pay attention to wide receivers.
Yeah. And they're still kind of just running the mill guys for me. I'm looking at them like, okay. And there's still some, good, free agents out there that I think that can contribute. But again, because when you look at the division that we're in, especially now with the Cowboys, they just picked up, George Pickens on top of it. So you got CeeDee Lamb, Pickens, to even, Turpin, and others. But then you've got what Washington's doing now too. And Scary Terry and company, and Jaden Daniels, and then Hurts with, AJ Brown, and it's just weapons everywhere galore. And we're still the little stepchild, over here in the bottom. I would like, it's fine having Russell Wilson, and I think he's going to do well, and he's definitely a larger step up from what we've had.
Absolutely.
But I would like to get him somebody other than Malik Neighbors, because I don't want him to force feed Neighbors, because Neighbors got to get his balls and this and that. And the fact that we haven't seen, yeah, and the fact we haven't seen Jalen Hyatt at all is just, I wasn't sure if it was a him thing. I wasn't sure if organization, if they weren't getting him good routes to get him open, or if it was Daniel Jones.
I am curious if we will see Jalen Hyatt get the ball more with a quarterback that can go through his reads.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think adding a weapon would be good. I think Gabe Davis fits well on top of this. So too, as far as anybody else, Keenan Allen and those guys that are out there, they're still older veterans, but I think they're kind of waiting it out and like looking for a cash in, like, hey, what team's a playoff team that maybe needs somebody that I can help contribute and kind of latch on to.
Yeah. Which is, what I would do if I was like on the tail end of my career. I would not pick the Giants.
The unfortunate part,
I know.
the unfortunate part for these veterans, there's a reason why they're still available. and after the draft, they're still available.
Right.
Their age is a concern for some teams, and they've, lost a step at this point in their career. And you got Amari Cooper, who's also available out there, still waiting to see if he can hop on a team. And yeah, most likely they are kind of holding out for an opportunity with someone that wants to pick them up late. But the more likely thing is that they might have to, temper their expectations and be like, you know what, I still want to play, so I'm going to go somewhere where they can at least pay me something.
You know who is available though? Antonio Brown.
I think he's in a psychiatric ward as we speak.
God, I hope so. I hope so. I'm kidding. No, I think the Giants are probably starting to get into that whole situation with Darius Slayton.
Mm-hmm.
But I am happy we re-signed him just because of the veteran presence in the locker room, because there is something to be said about that.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the longest tenured players with the Giants, and he has stuck, and he's been really, I feel like he's been very loyal to the team. He's been enthusiastic. I think he loves New York. So I'm okay with, and he's not that expensive either. Like we're not break the bank for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with us, keeping him on smaller contracts, and he can finish his career as a Giant and just be that like veteran presence in the locker room, which is hugely important. You can't discount that. So, but and I think Jalen Hyatt would be a phenomenal compliment to Malik Neighbors.
Right.
Phenomenal.
Right. Yep. Just if we could, if we're throwing the ball, if we could just see it, and that's the thing with that.
It'd be nice to see him play, like just give him that opportunity, because honestly, like looking at the situation with Hyatt coming out of Tennessee, a blazing fast speedster with size, like in length, I was super excited for the Giants to get him, because I was just like, you know what, man, this could be the next guy that's going to end up blowing up in the NFL, and he just hasn't gotten the opportunity. So, you would hope that now with a new quarterback like Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart down the line, that you could have some young, talented players all growing together, and who knows what can happen. I
hope Super Bowls, because I don't think I can do the whole 40 years without one thing. I can't do that, because my dad still owes me a Super Bowl. He didn't take me to 46. I was 11.
Yeah,
and that makes sense. Crap for not taking. He's like, dude, you were 11. I'm like, I don't care. You owe me a Super Bowl.
Yeah, bad parenting. What's wrong with you?
Come on, Dad. Come on.
It's like you literally go to every game though. Like
I know, and the next time the Giants in the Super Bowl, there is literally nothing on this earth that would stop me.
Stop you?
No.
Nice.
Nothing.
That's we gotta if this happens, we gotta hook her up with a GoPro and go live with something. Right. She gotta give us the whole shtick here and see what she does. We're going live with Lindsay. Where is she?
For the whole school weekend, just me losing my ever loving mind. Oh my God. That's even when the Giants won that playoff game in 2022, the joy that I felt. I mean, it was short lived, but that's the kind of that's the feeling of football that I miss, and we always go, my family, we have a bunch of friends that are Bills fans, and we go to one Bills game a year, and it's God, I miss being good, because there's a whole energy around the team when you are successful. It's more fun. The energy in the Giants parking lot is
have another.
We're all miserable. Yeah, we're all miserable.
We're all just here.
That I'm going to drink in a parking lot and see my friends. I'm not going to watch good football.
Yep, it's a mix of everything too. I think even again the stadium for what they spent on it is just kind of blah.
It's a $3 billion air conditioner unit.
Yeah, and you could never get good cell service too. Remember that, Joe? We're trying to go live from the parking lot and shit like that.
Yeah.
And this blows.
It has gotten better. Yes.
Oh my gosh,
it has gotten better. It's still not great, but it's gotten better. So we're but still it's such a shit stadium. And you know what? I kind of hate the fact that we share it with the Jets.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We should get
go home. Like go have your own space. Gangrene. No one like. Also, the fact that their like fan base is named after a disease. I just want to know who thinks that, because like you didn't think that through, did you?
I know.
Like, it's one of those things. Like I think about that like at least once a week. I'm like, at least we're not gangrene.
Yeah, well, exactly. And that's the thing though, too, is like the expectations that they had when they had their whole, horse and pony show with Aaron Rodgers coming in there and then Devontae Adams, and that just blew up in their face. New York was just
happen. Come on. I did not think for a second that Aaron Rodgers was going to succeed in New York with the Jets. And I'm like, I knew people were just, they're like, Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, dude, okay. Have fun with that.
Yeah,
so many. When the Giants were rumored to maybe sign him, I'm like, please, for the love of God, no. You can take him and his ayahuasca elsewhere. I don't want it anywhere near the Giants. Psychedelic somewhere else. I don't want it here. Like, no, thank you. Yeah, he's like, I hate MetLife. It's so bad. And like the fact that now we're like, you have the American Dream next to it now, which I mean, I still have not been into. Because it was empty for years. I would like years. We're like, that ugly thing again. Okay, just existed, and now I'm like, oh, they're actually like, there's something that goes on in there. I don't have any plans to go, but like, I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like, you know what? I will say, I like. There's something about the Meadowlands that I do. I love the Meadowlands, right? Like that was my first football game. Was Old Giants Stadium, and it's like the first memory I have as a human being is going to a Giants game. At like Steven, I don't like Aaron Rodgers. He's weird. He's a weird dude. I don't want him as my quarterback at all. But like, I want a new stadium.
Yeah, I mean that helps brighten it up, I think, a little bit too. Again, that way you're not so, because we're in New York. Though the weather is up and down all over the freaking place. We just had sunny, beautiful weather for a while, and now we have a week full of straight rain.
Yep.
It's like when are we getting through this? It's just
I feel like in North Jersey we get like freezing rain a lot once into like November, December, and the worst games I have been to are the freezing rain games where the Giants are getting their asses kicked and you're just soaked. Like, through it, like you're sopping wet and you're like, this is the worst experience ever.
Yep.
And like, I like what Buffalo's doing, because I believe football is a sport that is meant to be played outside. This whole like indoor stadium, like, no. Football is a sport. It's supposed to be played outside. But I like the idea of you cover the fans. Like, I like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because that helps. Definitely take care of everybody out there. I don't know how, New York isn't even like a dome stadium at this point, with the weather that they have and stuff like that.
I want a dome.
Yeah.
I like weather.
I get it. That's one thing for me. Like, when I've been lucky, every time I go there, it happens to be decent. I think last time I was there with Joe went too. The Raiders played he's a Raiders fan. I'm a Giants fan. They played each other and the Giants ended up winning again. So, which was great, but it was,
I remember that game. That was a couple years ago, right?
It was
beautiful out.
Beautiful, man. And I've just been lucky. And so I haven't gone through like a real, rough patch with the weather and stuff, but it's a grind, and that's your dedication that these fans have. And when the Giants suck this bad for so long, that's what ownership really needs to take into the consideration, is your fans stick through all of this.
Well, and let's be real. The ownership has not appreciated the shit we've gone through. Like that whole medium Pepsi crap they did a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like, you're one of the most valuable organizations in the NFL, and that's what you pull?
Yeah. Yep.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're not spending thousands of dollars and come to see your team suck in like freezing rain. And it was also one medium Pepsi per account.
Yes.
Not per seat.
Yes, that's right. I remember that. But
John Mary.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Like, and I feel like it has been like the fact that MetLife sucks so bad is contributing to the just like complete disappointment. And like, I get also part of like we're so close to New York City, and just, tailgating at Bills games versus tailgating at Giants games. I love our tailgates. They're so much fun, and we do a phenomenal job, if I do say so myself. But a lot of it just had, like, you can tell there's a lot of, like, corporate groups that tailgate there, whereas, like, Buffalo, it's just degeneracy the entire time, and it's
Jumping through tables.
yes. Like, and because they like, no one really tailgates in the stadium lots there. Like, nope, the 2 years ago, the Giants played the Bills on Sunday Night Football, and I think we were parked at 9:00 in the morning. Like,
Wow.
games at 8.
Mhm.
Giants games, you get 5 hours, which frankly is just not enough time.
Yeah.
Like, if it's an 8 PM game, yes, I would like to be tailgating at 9:00 in the morning. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Speaking of the Bills and Highmark Stadium,
Yeah.
I know, again, you have this thing where you're like, "Hi, I accidentally made it to Buffalo, took the wrong got lost and ended up in, with it
It's
at
an
the
annual thing
stadium."
now.
It is, but now they're going to be retiring Highmark Stadium because they're currently building the new one, and it's gonna be ready for next season. So,
Which I think you
uh
can get tickets to. I'm a New York State taxpayer. Thank you very much.
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely,
I
yeah,
have paid for that. I would like a ticket. Thank you. It doesn't have
yeah,
to be for every game. Just, like, throw me 1 or 2. It's fine.
right? I know, I agree. That's what I mean. It's like, and the fact that we didn't really get to vote on this, that's what I mean. They just put it up there and they put it up to Congress, the
Yeah.
New York State Senate and things, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna just pass this." I'm like, "What, dude? I didn't want that." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The people are like,
I
"Oh, so
kinda
now
think
we have
it's
to pay for it."
fun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fun.
So,
It's the same
um,
thing I feel like with Soldier Field.
mhm.
I think we're gonna go out to the Giants-Bears game at Soldier Field this year because it's gonna be the last time, and that breaks my heart that they're getting rid of Soldier Field.
Yeah, that's the
Really.
thing. It's like, because you got the history there and the way it's been, but again, when you talk about stadiums that are run down and just they need to work on it, it's just that's just what it is, what you're dealing with. What a lot of people want to get when they're there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's just like there's it's iconic and there's so much history, like, and because, now that they're building these, like, unbelievably expensive stadiums, like, the ticket prices are going
Oh yeah.
skyrocketing.
Hmm.
Like, I think the PSLs for the new Buffalo Bills stadium are outrageous. I mean, PSLs are a scam to begin with, but they're, like, ridiculously expensive. And I have a lot of friends who are like, "Yeah, this sucks." You're also,
Yeah.
like, in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
You're not in New
Yeah.
York City.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not in Chicago. You're not in but, like, you gotta, like, let's think of the market.
Hmm.
So, I I mean, I'm excited to see it. I'm certainly bummed that they're getting rid of Highmark because I think it's fun.
Hmm.
Um, and if they if we could just also, I'm sorry, I want the Giants to play in New York. We're a New York football team.
Right. Right. I
Like,
agree too. Make some
put me
room, make some space, do something. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Like, put us in Westchester or something, I don't know.
Right.
I just really hope they don't put it on, like, Long Island because that would just be
Yeah.
awful. But, like, you know what? You can put the Jets on Long Island.
Yeah. There you
Like,
go.
that's, like, I don't know. I think the Jets are a little more, like, Long Island-y, where the Giants are, like, kind of the rest of
Hmm.
New York. I could be totally wrong. That's
You
just
can
how
maybe fit them on Staten Island because currently Staten Island is sinking just like the Jets. So, that
yeah.
fits, right?
There you go.
Right
I
there you
like it.
go.
Yes, put them there. Put them there. Oh, and then it could just float. With
Yes.
the stadium floating in the Hudson River, that would be fun. It'd be totally different.
Oh man, there
But,
you
like,
go.
I know, I want a new stadium, but, like, it's not even that old, so I'm gonna have to wait a really long time.
Oh yeah, I know. We'll see though. Hopefully they can turn it around here. But right now, ESPN, NFL, The Athletic, Sports Illustrated, all ranking the Giants to be last or 30th, 27th. What's your take on that again? And what do you think the expectations are for this season moving forward?
Oh, that's such a tough question because I'm like, I don't I don't want to have all my hopes and dreams crushed week 1 like I usually do. And part of me is like, this is an entirely new chapter for this team. We have never seen them play together before. I mean, you've seen a lot, but the quarterback is a huge part of your team. They're, arguably the most important player on the field. And changing that changes the dynamic of your football team so much that I'm like, we're really like, this is unfamiliar territory for me. And I'm gonna go ahead and say I think we might compete in like the midfield. And if we got a wild card playoff spot, I will be there. I will be sat in whatever stadium we are. I don't care where it is. I will be there. I'm not missing that. Because after the suffering that we have had, like I need some good in my life. Like I'd be okay with like a 10-7, like 9,
Right.
maybe like somewhere in there, like that. And like, I mean, God, getting 10 wins would be
Well, yeah.
oh man.
Right. That's a whole different thing because we haven't seen that in a while. That's what and after last year with what 3 wins or something. Terrible. I mean, that's a whole turnaround. And when you think 10, I mean that's just outlandish at this point. You would think that, but
it does feel outlandish. You know what? It would have felt outlandish the last couple years. Brandon, I do not like your negative energy at all. Take that somewhere else, dude.
Hashtag know-it-alls.
Like, come on. And you know what? Yes, but also the thing is, the Giants could go 10-7 and like still be last in the division.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think the NFC East is really competitive right now. Well, no,
Yeah.
I don't know if the Cowboys would go 10-7. I feel like they don't. Like they're always like so overhyped every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Every single year they are overhyped.
Yeah. Yeah. And this, I think that George Pickens helps add to that now. Because
Yeah.
before, they were going to be hyped now. And, every single year, even though they say Jerry Jones, he doesn't make a splash move, this and this, but every single year he tries to make a move. You knew it was waiting, it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, people got excited before when it was Randall Cobb. We got Randall Cobb. Super Bowl, we got this guy. Super Bowl, Amari Cooper, Super Bowl, and now it's like now we've got Pickens here. Now they're gonna start chirping. Here we go.
I'm like, I'm sorry, win a playoff game and then we can talk.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And what it is with this move with Pickens, I feel like they're trying to help that offense and go offense, but I think still they needed to draft their defense in the draft and they didn't. Yeah. And they need to fix it still. They needed more help there and they didn't. And I think that's where they're going to suffer still. I think, yes, you get this offense going, but people are going to score on them.
Yep. I think Jerry Jones might be like starting to lose it a little bit because he did make Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in football. And that to me is a sign that you're starting to go.
Right. And the fact that, I mean, for me too, if I'm Dak Prescott too, and you're looking to win, don't you try and say, hey, let me sit down with you guys and restructure my contract or something like that and maybe do something to help out to get more talent or something. And you're not getting any of that. And that shows that you're not willing to win.
No, I mean? Like if we can beat the Cowboys this year, that like I genuinely can't tell you.
He's not a Cowboys fan, by the way.
No, he's instigating. I get it. I do the same thing. I can't be mad about that.
Yeah.
Damn it, Brandon, you totally lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
God. Oh.
Didn't address the defense. I said
yes.
Offense.
We're addressing the defense. Dak Prescott, highest paid quarterback.
Yeah,
no, we could beat the Cowboys.
Right. That's a start, right?
Yes. Because I can't tell you the last time we beat the Cowboys.
You can't, because I mean it's been seriously, I think like 10 games straight that we've gotten beat by them, I think, or something like that. So that's multiple
40-0 week 1 on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and that's what makes it worse. Because even Joe and I, when we were even hitting our stride with Godzilla Media and stuff like that, we found this great place in downtown Albany, who is a Giants fan, owns the place. Mm-hmm. Great food, amazing place, Giants fans everywhere, live shows. Deion Lewis is frequents there. We had him on the show. So he was a blast to talk to and
Yeah.
hang out with. And we're just we're next to Deion Lewis and we're watching and we're getting destroyed and flat out. And we're all just like, dude, I don't know.
Oh, I was there.
You want to do a shot?
Deion was really cool too to have on the show. He was awesome.
Yep. No, I was at that game.
Oh.
And then I was in the hospital the next day. So I feel like those two, they make
correlated together.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you're okay now, so that's good.
Yeah, fine.
I do have to say that I will push back a little bit on the Cowboys not doing anything on defense. I mean, they did attack it in the draft. They got a corner who I believe is going to be one of the most, slept on corners in the draft in Savon Ravel. As long as he stays healthy, this guy's going to be a shutdown corner. Donovan Ezeraku, who should have never gone to the second round, but they end up getting the steal there too as an edge rusher. I mean, their defense, along with the guys that they already had in place, and the fact that they re-signed Osa Digizua, that defense did get stronger, and it's going to be predicated more on the offense for the Cowboys is what they can do. Can they score points? Because without a running game, they haven't been able to do much of anything
this year. Yeah, with that, that'd be different.
I hope they can't.
I hope they can. I hope they still can.
Yes, I hope they continue to suck for the rest of my life.
All right. Yeah. Stephen Murray says again, second toughest schedule on paper. And it seems like we get that all the time too, right? Isn't it like always the headline, like Giants, second toughest schedule or one of the toughest? You're like, God damn it, man.
We have the Chiefs, we have the Vikings, I think we have the 49ers.
Yeah, we usually have we have multiple playoff games,
Yes.
playoff teams that we have to play against. So
it's
always tough.
The Chiefs game is stressing me out because I'm like, either we're going to get our butts whooped or we are going to pull something out of our ass and win, which would be I think I would ascend to the astral plane or something. I would die and go to heaven if we beat the Chiefs in a regular, obviously regular season game, but that would be
right.
I mean, I don't think we will, but also sometimes the Giants do weird shit like that.
Yeah.
Just come out of nowhere and play really, really, really well, for no reason at all. I'm like, can you do that all the time?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why almost Daniel Jones was the epitome of the Giants, just because you do just enough to tease you a little bit, and then you pull back, and then you're like, oh, because the Giants, again, would always kind of play up to competition and beat a good team, and then play down to some team that they probably should have won.
Yes, that's what was and it was just the inconsistency,
mm-hmm.
especially with Daniel Jones. It's there were times where I'm like, yeah, he's on fire, and he looks like he could succeed. And then the next game, it looks like he's never played a snap of football before. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't especially looking back at that, the first game with Daboll beating Tennessee. It's how do you regress that much in a week?
Mm-hmm.
A week. It just does not. And the Browns and the Seahawks games this past year, played really well, upset both those teams, especially the Seahawks game was crazy. Yeah. I'm like, how? And then you go and you look completely inept. I don't.
Yeah, and what sucks is when you look at a game like that, I mean, defense playing lights out really well for you, and you're kind of letting them down because seriously, they are playing their asses off to keep you in this game, and you're going 3 and out right after and shit like that, walking off just oh, I don't know, I can't get it done. Are you serious right now?
It is, and I think that was contributed a lot to these injuries is because the defense was on the field for the entire damn game.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? When you put a defense on the field for 60 minutes, they're not supposed to play 60 minutes of football.
Yeah.
You want your defense to spend as little time as possible on the football field.
Right, exactly. And I hope that with what they did here with the defense, I think we're going to be able to get some of that actually here.
And I just let's keep them off the field, please.
Mm-hmm, yes.
I want long, slow touchdown drives. Yes, methodical, run the ball. Yes, please. It's just, I really do. I have hope. I hope it's not false hope. And I hope, a week from today is when I get to start. A week from today is when I get to start planning my life for the fall, because like I can't do anything about like planning my life until the schedule comes out.
Yeah.
And like one of my best friends is getting married, and she's getting married in a weekend in October. I'm like,
Oh boy.
you realize how much I love you that I would miss a Giants game for this?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is love, and that's friendship. But she is getting married on a Saturday, so theoretically her wedding's in the
It
Cavs.
should be good. Yeah.
On Sunday.
Right. Exactly.
It's a home game, but like, so I get to start planning my life next, and if we play the Chiefs week 1, I really hope we're not playing the Chiefs week 1, because that would be brutal.
Who knows?
It might not be that brutal, because if you're playing them week 1, and I'll be honest, as a Raiders fan, I've noticed something that the Chiefs don't like. They don't like playing physical football. They really don't. And that's where they might have a problem with the Giants, is they are very scrappy defense, very physical. Mahomes might have a bad day at that time.
How many personal fouls will be in that game against the Giants?
Yeah, right. You're roughing the passer out of nowhere. Who knows?
Like I missed the part where a sack was roughing the passer.
Yeah, I know.
Missed that update to the rule book.
Yep. Before we head out of here, I have to get your take on, and again, it's going to be probably same take that we all have here, but Eli Manning getting snubbed for the Hall of Fame. I know you said you'd die for Eli. Here we are getting snubbed, where again, when you looked at the class, even for first timers here, to where he was like, I think he was the only quarterback up for to be in. So you're like, okay, dude, there it is. It's there. Mm-hmm. And then the fact that nothing, like I'm there at the awards, watching the award show, and I'm like, oh, here it comes. And then they announce, and I'm like, and then they're like, oh, that's it. And I'm like, that's it. They're done.
Wait, you're missing one.
Yeah. Speechless again.
I'm still livid. Eli Manning is one of the most underrated quarterbacks of all time. And he never, ever gets the credit he deserves. I mean, you start over 200 games in a row. You're never injured. The only start you missed was because Ben McAdoo is a fucking idiot. And I mean, look where Ben McAdoo is now. Has not coached in the NFL since, and for damn good reason. He ruined his career doing that. So it was disrespectful. It was stupid. You beat the greatest quarterback of all time and one of the greatest dynasties in sports twice in the biggest stage. I cannot. And because you know what? The next year, there's a lot of people who are first ballot that are going to get it. So I think it's going to be a little while for Eli, and it's fucking bullshit. And like, I need people to start giving Eli Manning the respect he deserves. Like, you don't see quarterbacks have that kind of longevity anymore. Like it just doesn't happen. And that alone is a very impressive feat. You're the MVP of 2 Super Bowls. You were a franchise quarterback for one of the most historic franchises in the NFL for well over a decade. Like, should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I was prepared to be in Canton in August.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. That would have been awesome, right?
I'm not a fan of Brandon. Brandon is like a hater. Brandon is a hater.
That's Joe's brother, actually, too. Joe, she hates her brother. He's an Atlanta Falcons
fan. I didn't say I hate him. I said he is a hater.
Oh, dude. Yeah, he is a hater.
He's a hater.
He is. No, he likes to poke the bear. He stirs the pot. He knows what he's doing.
I get it. I do the same thing.
Yeah,
he just wanted all your reactions to everything.
And this is where they go to, though. Again, when you want to look at Eli Manning, and they try and use stats as trying to keep him out, right? But some of the stats I think that even matter in the fact that what you see physically in the games and in big moments, I think that's what defines greatness. Because even if you talk about coaches, when they tell you it's like, Even Vince Lombardi in his speeches, big moments. How do you react in those moments is what makes you great, and greatness. That's where Eli Manning, stepped up. Yeah. When you see guys trying to put Eli Manning stats next to Cam, whatchamacallit? What the hell is his name? Cam Newton. Newton, and be like, oh, these guys are comparable. Cam Newton should probably be like, are you freaking serious? Cam Newton, Cam Newton was an MVP. Eli Manning was never an MVP. And I know, trust me, I'm not arguing this freaking point, bro.
The MVP thing, it doesn't matter. The MVP is a single award.
Exactly. But again, when those big moments happen, Eli performed twice, and Cam Newton throughout his Super Bowl in that game shrinked up into a little ball and sucked. So big moments.
That Cam Newton Super, it choked so hard. And statistics, whatever. But you could take a quarterback that sure played in the league for 12 years, never won a Super Bowl, and they might have statistics. But it's like, all right, numbers are numbers. Did you have the type of big success that Eli Manning did? No. I think of success as winning Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I think
what most people think of is success is winning Super Bowls.
And I think it was just some people, again, joining together, trying to prove a point. Hey, he's good, but not that he shouldn't be first ballot, blah, 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 all this.
No, he should be. In a lot of the categories that matter for a quarterback, he was just outside top 10 all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was top 10 until more recent guys started to push him out.
He's well above the threshold for the Hall of Fame, so he should have gotten in.
It is, and now especially he's gonna have to wait, and it's such a snub, and it's disrespectful, and also come on, he's the first family of football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he deserves respect on his own. Being Eli Manning, he deserves respect for having the composure he did in New York. He also, I think, deserves respect for, following Peyton and his dad. That's huge shoes to fill. And he did.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton and Eli have the same number of Super Bowls.
Yep. Exactly. And that's the thing, falling in suit with all that, a lot of on his shoulders. And that's the thing, being in New York, had the right demeanor, our boy said out there too. Give a shout out to him. And yeah, that's what I mean. Having the right kind of attitude through it all, fighting through injuries, playing, having that Iron Man, how many consecutive starts that he had to be ruined by Ben McAdoo too, as well. That I will never forgive him for that one either, as well. And that's what I mean. Taking blow after blow with that offensive line sucked so bad, and still performing. Even though, again, a lot of people will say, "Oh, the turnovers even too," and you'll see. You show me that roster and some of these wide receivers that you had on that roster. You tell me an elite number one that they really had. You can maybe go back to when they had Plaxico Burress for that short time, and that was it.
I fully believe that if Plaxico Burress did not shoot himself in the leg, the Giants would have won another Super Bowl. We would have 5.
Yeah,
Plaxico
potentially. They still had that defense. Yeah, I said. I agree. I think that was they had a shot because, again, you had that same core of people still together and a shot. So, but
and Tom Coughlin was such a good. I miss Tom Coughlin.
Mm-hmm. I think we all do at this point. That's the thing. When times are tough, and then they're looking for somebody to blame, and next goes in line Kevin Gilbride and blah blah blah. And finally, it came down to Tom Coughlin, and now look where we are. We've been scrambling to find somebody since, and it hasn't really worked out for us. But hopefully, now after what we see here, where Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll can kind of grab what they want with that quarterback. So I guess in our eyes,
I think it's their team now. It feels like their team rather than Gettleman's leftovers, which. And you know what? If I'm a coach, I want it to be my team, right? I want my, and I think this feels like it's their team.
And it doesn't, and it's not just like when they took the jobs, Joel Shane and Brian Daboll, the fan base would have loved it to turn around in one season. It would have been great. Would have been one of the most miraculous stories in football, but it takes years to build the team in your vision. And unfortunately, in today's era of football, owners and GMs, most of the time, they don't even give that luxury anymore. It's like 2 or 3 years. If you don't show anything, you're out. So this year is a critical year too for Daboll and company, because if they don't show any improvement, then their jobs are on the line.
But you know what? I hope they're not, because you can't keep going through this cycle of hiring new coach and GM every 2-3 years, because you are going to end up in this perpetual state of distrust with the players. You're never going to have consistency. Your players are going to have to learn new systems all the time, so they can't grow in a system and become successful at it. I think even if the Giants don't, they still maybe, aren't great this year. And because you know what, the Giants won't be great this year. Even if they're still like mediocre, I keep Shane and Daboll, let them keep working. I think you continue to let Daboll develop Jackson Dart. You continue to let them develop that roster, because it's a pretty young roster now. And they need consistency. And I think taking that away is just, it hurts. It's going to hurt them. And it is going to continue to put this team into turmoil and losing games. And you need the consistency to succeed.
Absolutely, Joe. There you go. Lindsey Weitz joining us, host of the Back in New York Groove podcast, which I hope she gets started again, because you can tell she's fired up. You're fired up, and we just had a great conversation about the Giants, and I'm sure there's going to be more this upcoming season. So we love having you on. It's been way too long. But
we'll have to do a live show at a game this year.
Yeah, if I can get some goddamn Wi-Fi there, but yeah.
All right, don't worry, I got that all worked out.
And hopefully, definitely. I think we're going to be active again. Like we talked about off air before we're getting into things. We're getting out there with everybody too. We're trying to be out there with everybody else, move around, doing 2 shows at once here. So we appreciate you joining on with us. We will be talking to you in the future, whether this show or the Blindside Blitz.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
All right,
Lindsey Weitz. That's right, Joe. A couple years, and like I said,
a few years
kind of went off the map. But with the Giants, the way they've been playing, I'm not surprised. She kind of just went off the grid. But traveling a lot. I forgot to ask her about some traveling plans. But just recently came back from Mexico too, enjoying the sun down there and some scuba diving. So that's awesome. But yeah, so other news there for everybody that's joining us. We appreciate the comments, by the way, everybody out there too. If you guys haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the show, the channel out there. Just go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button, notification bell, let you know whenever we go live. The trade that went down, Pickens, we talked about it on our live show last night. It was stirring. It was coming up. The breaking news. He finds his home here with the Cowboys. Joe, compensation's not bad at all.
No,
but what
cheap.
do you think about it? We talked about it during that interview a little bit here, but what do you think again now, what this does for the Cowboys, and then with the Steelers and what their game plan is?
I mean, to get George Pickens, and there's a lot that comes with this trade, is the Steelers were trying to hold out for higher compensation, couldn't get it from anybody. The Cowboys come calling and they're like, hey, what are you looking for and everything. They end up agreeing on a 3rd round pick in 26 and a 5th round pick in 27 in exchange for a 6th rounder. And I got to say, like, to me, to get a player of that caliber who's still young in his prime, but also there's a lot of baggage that comes with a guy named Pickens. And I'm not 100% sure how this is going to all work out, because we've seen the Cowboys take risks like this before with questionable talent and what have you. So, I think it's a big risk, but it also could end up being a big reward if, in fact, it does kind of Pickens kind of like takes a step back and says, okay, I'm with a new team, new environment. You know, it makes sense. The move makes sense for the Cowboys. They wanted to go receiver in the draft. I know they liked a lot of the guys that were available. However, they knew they had to concentrate on defense, and it kind of took them away from that path. So by getting George Pickens, now you're teaming up with CeeDee Lamb. That's going to be a nice duo for them. Dak Prescott getting healthier, looking to come back. So he'll have some weapons to throw to. But again, you're restocking the shelves at wide receiver, but you drafted one running back in Jaden Blue, who not in my opinion, not a every down back. So you still are lacking in that running back room. And if that does continue where they are one trick ponies, where they're going to be passing over and over and over to try to move the ball and score points, then honestly, you're right back where you started from with the offense anyway. So a difference for them. He's definitely a real player, but this also could backfire tenfold to where his toxicity in the locker room, his negativity, his attitude, maybe they can't contain it. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers have done an amazing job, an admirable job of putting a lid on the jar with Antonio Brown when he was in there. Nobody knew that he was a problem. Nobody knew that he was losing his damn mind. But somehow Pittsburgh kept it, under wraps. Somehow they just did it. And then they did the same thing with Pickens. And then there was, grumblings around Pittsburgh about, man, there's some friction there. Like they might move on from him. We started to hear rumors, and now here's the reality. Mike Tomlin, and everybody likes to point fingers at Mike Tomlin. This was Mike Tomlin's call, by the way. Mike Tomlin said, you know what? I'm done. Let's move on from him. Get him out of here. Because I don't want that disruption in my locker room. I'm foaming out the mouth right now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm all fired up.
You're passionate, Joe.
So it wasn't a thing where like, oh, well, they're moving on from him because Tomlin and him don't get along. No, Tomlin basically made a football decision and said, you know what? Despite the young wide receiver, despite his playmaking ability, we can't go through this all season long again. Move on from him. And let's get something for him.
Right. And that's the thing. Pittsburgh's known to do this even too. They've done it. Like you said, Antonio Brown was the big one. They've even learned not to play ball with Le'Veon Bell when he wanted to flex his muscles and how big of a guy he was with that organization and things as well. Chase Claypool, same thing. He kind of developed an attitude, and he wasn't even nowhere near as good as a player.
No, he just never
as
turned
Antonio
out to be good.
Brown, or even what Pickens looks like he could be. And everybody remembers the spectacular couple of fingered catch here that Pickens has had. But this is what Pittsburgh does. This is why this organization is run so well. What it does, it takes something like here and say, listen, we don't need the attitudes. We don't need any of this. We'll take something and plan for the future. So now this kind of sets up the scenario now that everybody is kind of piecing together that Aaron Rodgers truly is going to be coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was seen in the offseason throwing to DK Metcalf. There you go. That's the teammate that's sticking around. And now he could be your bridge quarterback here. And now they've got some more picks. They can look for a quarterback in the draft next year if they don't finish well as well. And then add some more pieces here to move forward and keep this franchise going, because this franchise is so good that I'm always looking to see when they're going to take that step down and be the last in his division, and they never are. And this is what they do. They keep regenerating, make the smarter moves, even at the time. At the time it looks like, oh, this is going to hurt them, they just do it and it works for them. And this is why they don't go through a bunch of different coaches too, all at this, multiple years, just keep regurgitating. They stick with what they got. They believe in Mike Tomlin. He says, this is his move. I want this guy out. Hey, Mike, sure. Sounds good. Let's do it. You think this is better for everybody over on the long haul? Let's do this. And they did it. And as far as for the Cowboys, I said it a little bit during the interview. I get it. And I know that. And I think if they traded or grabbed a weapon, or a player on defense, I think that would have helped a little better. And I think I get it. And Pickens can probably work well, even though he's got that little bit of an attitude. How's that going to work with CeeDee Lamb playing more in the slot here as that type of receiver here? It's probably going to get him open more. And I get that as well. And you got Pickens as a deeper threat, but you had other guys too there, that Tolbert, Turpin, that really developing into great wide receivers. And I think that just kind of knocks, especially Turpin, back to where, all right, you're going to be in on times in some packages, but you're going to be our kick returner. And that kind of, I think, which sucks, because I think Turpin could have even been better in this offense. And I don't think you really needed a George Pickens.
I honestly think that Turpin's going to carve himself out a starting job this year.
And I think the fact that too, that they gave even up, a third, I think they could have used that for next year still.
Of course, any team could use those draft picks for the following year, and they are valuable. But they viewed a young wide receiver that they could get for cheap. I mean, I would give up the same thing. Minus the attitude.
You're having trouble paying Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, everybody now.
Well,
what are you going to do, with Pickens?
But they've done this over the years. Like we knew that this was going to come to a head eventually financially for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. We knew that at some point they couldn't keep kicking the can down the road anymore, and it's here. So they've done this to themselves financially. And this seems like it's going to be a 1 year type of thing. They're not redoing his deal. They're not giving George Pickens right now a new deal like everybody expected. He's going to play under the current deal that he's under, and he's going to try to prove that he deserves to be paid like a legitimate receiver. Now, if that comes to a head, now they got to make some major decisions, because Abdul Carter still hasn't been agreed to a new contract. He wants to be the highest paid defensive player in the league. And Myles Garrett was, right? Yeah. Myles Garrett was. Now this is Abdul Carter, or not Abdul Carter. With Micah Parsons. With Micah Parsons, you have a guy who is younger than Garrett, who's going to be there longer. Now it's almost like they're going to have to make him the highest paid defensive player. If they do that, and they have the contract with Dak Prescott, unless they move on from him, they're strapped. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's over. You can't re-sign any more guys that are going to be free agents that are going to command any crazy big money. So it's a risk move. And honestly, this is the kind of move where we can blame Jerry Jones all we want, but Jerry Jones isn't the one making all these calls. It's Stephen Jones. It's the guy who has learned from his father that you make these big moves when they're of opportunity and when they're available. And yes, it's a good move if it works out, but this also could go the other direction. And even if it pans out, let's just say, for example, George Pickens has a phenomenal year, over 1,000 yards receiving, double-digit touchdowns, right? Has a phenomenal season. Now when it comes time to pay the piper, who's going to pick up the tab?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Dallas. And you traded away, like you mentioned, the compensation
capital that can help your team.
But unless you have a plan in the future for this, where you know it's going to happen, unless they are, in fact, going to move on from Dak Prescott and his contract, save a lot of money so they can retain a guy like George Pickens, it's still one of these issues where whatever decision they go with, there's going to be consequences one way or the other. You move on from Dak, you still don't have an answer. You're quarterbackless the following year, and there's no answer there.
And I mean, that's what I mean. And for me, I kind of see it as the opposite and what it might be or not. But I look at it as maybe this is Jerry Jones' last hurrah and a look of desperation to me, to where, hey, I want to try and see one more before I go here. And he's leaving the Stephen Jones holding the bag after it. You know what I mean? Here you go. I'm like, here you go. I want to try and do this. I want one more here. Let's ride the Cowboys here. And then that's it. Then son, take it over. And I'm sorry, I've left you with whatever you got.
I left you with shit.
Sorry,
really.
Make it work. But you know what I mean? This is what I want.
mean, this is the same scenario that Al Davis with the Raiders.
Right.
Same exact thing. Is where Al Davis was getting desperate because he knew his time was up. He knew he was going to pass away. Yeah. His health wasn't that great. So he made some desperating moves, was throwing money out here and there, grabbing any big name he could to try to see one more Super Bowl, win one more Super Bowl. Didn't happen because you can't build a team like that. And if Jerry Jones is taking the same route, with Stephen Jones going to be left with the bill at the end of the day, it's not going to work out as well. So This is one of those type of moves where I really think because they made this move, they view themselves as Super Bowl contending. That's how they view themselves, because you don't make a move like this. This is a one type move that you make, say, hey, like the Rams, when they brought in Von Miller and they're like, hey, let's bring in this vet pass rusher who's going to give us a leg up on the competition. We'll get to the Super Bowl and win it. And they did. They cashed in. Mm-hmm. Cowboys have to be viewing themselves as winners this year. I don't think it is, in our opinion,
right?
I don't think that's going to happen, but that's how they're viewing themselves. And that's why they made this move.
All right. So now turning on to that now with available wide receivers that are out there again, Pittsburgh again, now looking at the roster, gave up Pickens for some picks.
Mm-hmm.
They still have Mason Rudolph, and company on the roster here. They drafted a quarterback in the draft. But it can't be what they're looking at this season. So again, that's why everybody's tying that Aaron Rodgers is coming. So then Jets we're hearing that, there's a trade being involved possibly with the Steelers to bring Lazard to the Steelers to fill that gap. And again, Rodgers knows Lazard.
Right.
Maybe this is what he wants
of
to.
Course.
Doesn't want to deal with Pickens too on top of it. Bring in my boy Alan Lazard. This all works.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you've got Aaron Rodgers there too. And then you're moving forward. And your team ultimately looks better than what it does currently right now on paper. But is even Lazard the guy? But I mean, I would beg to say that I wouldn't bother going and trading for Lazard if it's me. But if
they don't have to
if
either.
That's what they want. That's what I don't get.
Lazard's going to end up getting cut. Like I don't think he's staying with the Jets.
They owe him a bit of money though. Still not a huge chunk, but again, I mean, they'd take a cap hit for it.
They do a post June 1st cut, which will save them more money, and then they move on. Like because Aaron Glenn, the leader now of the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't care.
So like he wants to get this roster right now. So I kind of expect Lazard to be cut if he's not dealt. And if Pittsburgh, they're a smart organization. They're so well run. I think if they don't think there's an opportunity where they do cut them, then they make a small trade. They give up a 7th round pick and move and obtain them that way. But I think they could hold out and just wait for them to cut them, and they'll be able to sign them on the cheap. And you're right. I think this is all coinciding with Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh. This has been like a far gone conclusion that we've all been expecting this to happen. And if it does, definitely could see Lazard in a Pittsburgh uniform.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm looking. I agree with you too. I'm looking to see if they even do a roster cut first, just because. What do you even trade for an Alan Lazard at this point?
A 7th round pick.
7th round. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, get even what you got from the Cowboys, and I would say I'd give you 2027 6th rounder for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving a whole bunch up.
I would
rather just wait until he gets possibly cut, if that's the thing here, because I don't think, again, you're losing George Pickens, but then you bring in Alan Lazard, even though he's tight with Aaron Rodgers and stuff. He didn't even make a big difference here for him in New York, to where they even brought in Devontae Adams, and Devontae Adams didn't even make an impact in New York either. So I don't think that's the scenario that helps. But I think at this point, though, for Pittsburgh, they still need to solidify that deal, as long as that it is Aaron Rodgers. I think ultimately that helps them.
Yeah.
And there's a few others out there. And I think if Aaron Rodgers is truly there, that some of these other free agents out there would be interested maybe in going to Pittsburgh and signing their name on it. The older veterans, maybe Amari Coopers and things like that. It all depends,
I think, well, here's the thing is I think Lazard is the guy. Like you're getting Rodgers. Rodgers dictated who he wanted with the Jets. The same thing's going to happen in Pittsburgh.
I don't know, but again, would Tomlin deal with that in Pittsburgh though? Again, what I mean? Because again, we know the way the organization is. They don't put up with that shit.
Well, here's the thing: is it's not like you're getting a toxic player. You're getting a guy who's a veteran, a guy that understands, a guy that's a team player. Like you're getting more that you're not getting that toxicity or anything. If Lazard was an issue, for the locker room or something, then I could say, okay, yeah, that's not going to happen in Pittsburgh. It won't fly. But in order to get Rodgers, they're going to do whatever it takes because they know they're desperate right now. The Kirk Cousins pipe dream is not happening. That's not happening. Now you either have Rodgers or Mason Rudolph, and that's it. So it's going to be Rodgers, and they're going to make this work. And if it means, okay, we got to bring in a veteran receiver, maybe we wouldn't sign him otherwise. But hey, if it's going to get Rodgers to come here, we're going to do it. We're going to just make this relationship work right from jump, and let's roll. Let's see what we can do. Also, they got a young kid in his second year in Roman Wilson, who did get injured last year. He's coming back, and he was very explosive, very fast, quick, twitchy type of receiver that I think is going to also take another huge step for them this year. You're going to really see some. I think with DK Metcalf on one side, and you got Roman Wilson either in the slot or opposite side, they're going to figure it out. They're going to make this thing all work, and there it isn't going to be, they have a lack of receivers. They've prepared for this. They're comfortable with what they have. And now when they get Rodgers into that uniform, it's press go and let's see what we can do this year, because they are competing to win. They're competing to get into the playoffs this year. That's why they would entertain even bringing Rodgers in.
Yeah. So I guess that's something we'll keep a pulse on. We're hearing more and more. Who knows, that news may break tomorrow.
You know what else we're hearing, Jim?
What's up?
We're just hearing right now that the Rams are making a major push for none other than Jalen Ramsey from the Dolphins, bringing him back to L.A. And they are the leading team right now currently that is making a major push to try to get a deal done to bring Ramsey back to L.A. because they view Ramsey as the last piece they need to be a contending team for this. Not for you, not for me,
but from last time when he was there, that's when you started to see the Jalen Ramsey of old. Even Joe, you saw he was getting cooked, and then he goes to Miami and blazing eggs. Same thing.
That's because
why would they want more of that? I mean, I'm looking.
Apparently, they love him with their defense. Apparently, that's what they love him. They love his physicality. They love his tackling. They love that at times he is in the right spot, especially in zone coverage. He does play pretty decent there. But when you put him out on an island, that's when he gets really exposed against better receivers.
But that's why I kind of look to free agency. And again, I still think there's some guys out there that can still.
Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah.
But that's not what they're looking for, I guess. They're looking for bigger guys.
Yeah.
Bigger corners.
I guess. But I don't know. Again, maybe that's what they think would work. I mean, their defense is good already.
We're not running the Rams team.
We're not running the Rams team.
So we're just reporting what we hear.
I get it too, because every time I think they're going to take a downhill turn again, they still find a way to win still too.
Hey, as long as they're competitive and winning, we can't question the moves.
We can't.
But we can complain about it.
That's going to be an interesting division too moving forward. I can't wait till when we get into roster cuts, preseason, and all that stuff to do our picks and stuff like that, and kind of preview those divisions, stuff like that. So there's a lot more to talk about. We'll get into it next week. There's free agents out there. There's going to probably be more roster cuts, trades going on. This is the NFL season. We're getting ramped up for it week to week. We're going to have more content for you next week. We're going to have an interview set up too. We're going to be posting with Eric Hanneman from ESPN Radio. He is the producer for the Freddie Coleman and Harry Douglas show. Good friend of ours. I haven't talked to him in a while too, so it would be great to talk some ball with him. He's a Jets fan, so we get to hear. We heard the Giants side and them complain. Now we can hear the Jets side and see what happens there and what he experienced here with the Aaron Rodgers experiment. What he sees, what's going around with the NFL. So it'd be fun to talk to him, and more to come for this year, Joe.
Yes, sir.
All right. So
if you're new to the show,
tell them.
I knew you were where you were going with this.
Yes.
If you're new to the show, please do us a huge favor and further support our channel over on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. We've got the QR code that just popped up on the screen. You can scan that. You can head over there directly. Make sure you like it, you share it, all that jazz. Become a know-it-all. We are growing, but we're slow, but we need your help to continue to climb the ladder. So please do so.
All right. That's it for us this week. It's been a great show, and we'll see you guys next time.